Hey guys, we're going to do a quick video on biscuits. I've had a lot of requests come in curious about how I make my biscuits. Now, if you guys are fans of Misty Prepper, which I know everybody is, then you've watched the master make biscuits in her own way. And I've watched many of her videos, and every time I'm just amazed at how she can do that just like that. But it goes to show that when you make biscuits, or if you're making any baked goods, which is something that I have to remind myself all the time, you have to allow yourself room to learn. You also have to allow yourself room to mess up and change things and adapt recipes to what fits for your needs and your family. So I have been doing all kinds of, baking all kinds of different recipes to make biscuits. And I finally found a recipe that actually works for our family, and they like it a lot, so that worked out good. There is a few things you can change about it, and we'll talk about that along the way. Now, I want to give credit to whoever made this biscuit recipe, but when I found this recipe, it was prior to doing all of this. I literally wrote it down, put it to the side. A couple days later, I tried it and it worked. I have no idea where I got it. I know it was on Facebook. Maybe you have this recipe at home, so I give credit where credit is due, but I don't have a name at this time, but I will work on that if I can. So, we're going to start. The first thing you got to have is flour. Now, in this recipe, they have a 1.5 cup mixture of your white unbleached flour, all-purpose flour, to a 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour. I don't do the whole wheat. My family doesn't like that. I love it, but if I'm going to spend the time to cook and to clean or whatever, prep meals, I want there to be a high success rate. I think moms understand that. So you're going to start out, just write it down if you want to, 2 cups of white, unbleached, all-purpose flour. And I've already pre-measured that. Let's hope that worked out good. So you're going to just plop that in your big orange bowl. I've been joking calling that my Tennessee bowl today. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to add baking powder, okay? Do not confuse baking powder with baking soda. That's another story that I could tell you about. Been there, done that. So you're going to add in about 2.5, and it's not 100% exact, okay? Don't flip out and thinking that if you don't have exactly the measurement that it's going to, be a disaster. Not the case. Just don't get those two things mixed up. So you're going to do your baking powder. Done that. Now you're going to do your baking soda. Baking soda. This you're not going to put a whole lot in, okay? You're just going to put in about a half a teaspoon. So just kind of shaking that baby all around. Then you're going to add in about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, again, I just kind of shake it and go. I don't stress about that. I have made biscuits in so many different ways now. Some call for a little bit of salt, some of them don't. So I just make that work. Go with it. Okay, but that is the precise measurement. And then you want to mix up your dry goods. You want to get those good and mixed in the bowl, mixed around. Just use your spoon. Haven't added any wet goods yet. Haven't added my oil yet. Haven't done that yet. All right, so the next thing you're going to do with your flour mixture is you're going to add butter. In this recipe, you add butter. Thank the Lord, I finally found a recipe that calls for real butter. I don't do lard. I don't have my own lard yet. We don't have pigs yet, so I don't have that. And I haven't found a source for it that I personally trust. And I will not add Crisco. I have gotten away from that. So in my mind, I'm like, I've got to use real butter. And this is the real deal. This is real butter. It's 6 tablespoons. Okay? So it's not a full stick of butter, but it's getting there. Now, I have reduced it. I've actually just used a 1/2 stick before. I'm finding that with, as a lot of good cooks will tell you, if you're watching Misty or a lot of folks on the, they don't stress about exact. They've done it so much. And it's just like any other skill. If you are a carpenter or, you work on cars or if you do certain things, you just know. You don't have to have an exact measurement or someone to tell you exactly. You've just done it so much, you know where things can give and take a little bit. So, but just to be exact on the recipe, it is 6 tablespoons of butter. Not margarine or any wild stuff like that. It is a real stick of butter. And I encourage you to try that in your cooking, as I have continually told folks. I'm just mixing. Trying to just mix these up, make it coarse, make it like a cornmeal feel. If you can add folks are confused about stuff like this. And it's amazing because I am trying to swim out of that stream myself. I feel like my generation, maybe a little bit older and definitely younger, we don't know how to cook. We watched our mamaw do it, and maybe a lot of us weren't taught. If you are an older generation and you've got grandkids or great-grandkids and this is just second nature to you, or if you know how to crochet and you know how to sew and you know how to darn socks and you know how to clean a deer and you know how to fish and you know how to hunt, all of those things, please get the younger generations out and teach them. Because when you're not around or those generations are gone and you're left for us to try to teach those younger generations and we weren't taught either, we're left way out of the loop. So I'm trying to come back into the loop. That's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to do. We've left the city. We're trying to leave processed goods behind as much as possible. We're trying to get back to where we originally feel our family roots come from. We know they do. And we want our kids and their friends in line to experience that because it's going to take that self-sustainability to make it. That's another rant, another day. All right, so I've mixed in the butter. I've got it all mixed in there. It's coarse. It's all over my hands. That's just part of it. I've got 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of whole milk. The recipe calls for 1 cup of buttermilk. I have made it both ways. Depends on your flavor. What do you like? What's your taste buds going for? I can eat biscuits, white biscuits made with buttermilk or not buttermilk. So I'm not real picky about that. My family prefers not the buttermilk. They like it just like a plain deal. So that's where I'm going today. Now, if you want to make that buttermilk, but you don't have buttermilk on hand, take you a cup of milk, add you about a tablespoon of vinegar, boom, you're there. Simple. But I didn't do that. So that's up to you. Try it both ways and figure out what you like best. It's just a personal preference. And I'm just going to mix this in the bowl, okay? And it's making kind of a sticky, thick deal there. Okay? This is where you get your hands in it. And after you make it a couple of times, you won't be as slow as I am right now. It actually moves quite fast, okay? I mean, you know, it's amazing how you go talk to somebody and they talk about how they have fresh eggs and biscuits and stuff in the morning. But again, these people have been making and doing it so long that it's second nature. You're going to have to add a little bit of flour in here just because it's sticky. Okay, and I'm going to move the recipe because I don't want to mess that up. And I just, you know, go with it. We're going to get on in here. And it's going to be messy, so be ready for that. There's no really good way around it. So you just add your flour. You just... If it needs more flour, you add more flour. If it's too dry when you make it, then you're just going to add more milk. I mean, it's common sense. And it's doing it several times to figure out how you got it. All right, we're getting it worked here to where I kind of want it. And I cleaned my countertop prior, but I'm going to tell you, if you've been around anybody making biscuits or seen it done, it is not a clean process. Not meaning... like it's filthy dirty, but you're going to have your little mess picked up afterwards. You're going to have that flour. I just plop that on the flour, and I'm working my dough. I don't want to overwork it, and I don't know, somebody will tell you the exact science on what is overworking, over-kneading. I just go with it. All right, so then we're going to roll it out. I've got enough flour on here, I'm not going to worry about that. It'll move with you. It will be soft. And I made my dough about, I don't know, a 1/4 inch thick or so. Okay? Now I've already got my oven preheating on 400, so it's hot and ready to go. I do use cast iron. I use Lodge cast iron, or any type of cast iron will work. Now some folks have a biscuit cutter. I don't. I never had a biscuit cutter, and I never saw anybody that did that I grew up with. They used jars or the rings. So we're just... go with it. I'm sure this video is long. Long. But we want to do a good job. My kids get excited, and they all like different things on them. So, some of them like molasses. I've taught them, which I was taught. I love butter. I like to take butter, real butter, and put a slice into molasses, and then chop the butter up in the molasses and then smear it on a buttered biscuit. It's good stuff. We'll roll this back right on up. You still have your flour. You may have to move those around some. That's okay. I mean, we're cooking here, right? So we can do that. But like I said, you can change this up a little bit. If you want to add whole wheat flour into it, you certainly can do that. Like I said, you're just going to do about a 1.5 cup to a 1/2 cup portion from your white to your whole wheat. It does add a little bit more of a texture to it. And that's just a personal preference, but it's good. All right, so we're down to the last little bit. I have found that this recipe, let's see how many we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It makes anywhere, about 10 to 12 biscuits. So here it is, and I'm gonna stop at this point. You can mix in these last little odd ends pieces if you want to. And you're gonna plop these in the oven, and they're gonna bake at about 400 for about 15 minutes. And that's what we're going to do. And as soon as we're done baking that, I will take a picture and I'll let you know if they turned out pretty good. They've turned out really good so far. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have more questions, I know we have a ton of things coming in. Folks want to see pear butter made. That's going to be coming up soon. They want to know how to do canning tomatoes and corn. We may make time for that. Just a lot of cool things. So thank you for supporting us and welcoming us into the homesteading community. And we are just tickled to be there. So y'all have a good day. And I'll get a picture of these biscuits as soon as they're done. 415 minutes. Y'all have a good day.